Hello, my name is Aisha, and this is my story, a journey of survival, secrets, and the supernatural. Subscribe, like, and turn on notifications for more. Welcome to my world. The streets don't care who you were before, they only care who you are now. Tonight, like every other night, I had to be strong enough to survive. I stood there, staring at my reflection in the cracked mirror, forcing myself to believe I could handle whatever the night threw my way. Dreams don't pay bills, and hope? It's a luxury I can't afford. The streets, though, they don't forgive, they swallow you whole. I used to believe in hope, but out here, hope is a poison. It keeps you dreaming when you should be fighting. And tonight I need to fight. I can't afford to lose again.
Struggling to survive in this hard reality. Trying to find a place I could call home for me. Through the storm, through the rain, through the endless unknown, I'm holding on to find a place I can call my own.
But tonight was different. I wasn't ready for what was about to unfold. Not even close. I waited in that dark alley, hoping for something, anything. As the minutes turned into hours, silence was my only companion. Maybe tomorrow would be different. Maybe luck would finally find me. And then a sleek black car pulled up. He was the kind of man you never knew whether to trust. Could he be a killer? A ritualist? I didn't know, and I couldn't afford to care. How much? He asked, his voice calm but cold. My heart raced as I stammered out the price. "You're so beautiful," he added. "Why are you doing this?" I looked at him and replied, "I need the money for something urgent." We kissed and both undressed inside his car. When I saw his massive bola, my mind skipped. I have never seen a bola that big. I got hold of myself somehow. I couldn't afford to walk away now. I needed the money. The sex was mechanical, like everything else, but then I lost control of my body and came twice screaming shamefully inside that car on an empty street like a mad person. Something wasn't right with me, I told myself afterwards. He told me his name was Mike and took my number. Said he will call me in a few days. As I headed home, I stopped to buy some food for Mama Omar, my neighbor. She was always struggling to get by, and I thought it might ease my guilt. But when she looked at me, her expression changed. She stared for a long time and then said, "You look so light today, like a white woman." And then said, "You're the wife of Olokun, the water god. But you already know that." When Mike called me to meet him at the hotel bar, he was charming, generous, and made me feel seen. He told me I looked like a princess from the north, and I laughed, telling him about my Fulani grandmother. But deep down, I should have known better. Men like him don't just want to help. 3 days later, Mike called me with a proposition. Big money, he said. Easy money. All I had to do was help him with a business deal. But when I got to his house, I realized why it didn't feel right. It wasn't business, it was a robbery. They wanted me to use my looks to get access to a mansion while they waited outside. I told him I wasn't interested, but he pulled out a gun. The choice was gone. The mansion loomed large, elegant, and silent, like a graveyard. They told me to act like I needed help. My hands trembled as I pressed the doorbell. The butler opened the door, and I barely managed to speak before everything went from bad to worse. The butler triggered a silent alarm, and within minutes, sirens blared outside. The police had been tipped off. I tried to run, but I didn't get far. 6 months. That's how long I spent behind bars. 6 months of staring at concrete walls, trying to figure out where it all went wrong. I used almost every kobo I had to bribe my way out. The police told me a woman called Aisha alerted them of the planned robbery. What was weird to them is that her voice sounded exactly like mine. The police looked at me as if I was crazy. I knew who or what made that call, and it terrified me. When I came home, the room was flooded. Water soaked through everything, as if the river itself had spilled into my life. Among the wreckage, I found things that didn't belong. Shells, stones, objects that seemed like they came straight from the river. This wasn't just bad luck anymore. This was something else, something bigger. And I couldn't shake the feeling that this was only the beginning. I ran straight to Mama Oma. She was the only one who could make sense of the madness. I told her everything about the robbery and mysterious caller to the police in my voice and name. She listened quietly and then recommended someone who could help, a native doctor named Baba Wole. The journey to Baba Wole's village wasn't long, but it felt like a lifetime. I took a taxi through winding roads that led away from the city's chaos into the quiet of the countryside. I couldn't help but wonder if I was making the right choice.
Every step's a battle, every breath's a fight. I'm chasing the dawn through the endless night. The walls are closing in, but I won't break. I'll carry this pain for my future's sake. Struggling to survive in this hard reality, trying to find a place I could call home for me. Through the storm, through the rain, through the endless unknown, I'm holding on to find a place I can call.
Baba Wole's compound was humble, with thatched roofs and clay walls. He greeted me with a calm smile, like he'd been expecting me. He listened as I poured out my story, then consulted his oracle. He said Olokun had a purpose for me, a purpose I wanted no part of. He said if I accepted Olokun, that I will have the world, money, wisdom, power, and everything I wanted. He told me that there are many people who would pay money to be in my position. Olokun wanted me to build an oracle in his name, recruit followers, and worship him. In return, I would have power beyond imagination. But there was a catch. I couldn't marry or have children. When I refused, Baba Wole suggested another option, a divorce ritual to separate me from my spirit husband. It sounded like a lifeline, and I grabbed it with both hands. Baba Wole said the ritual had to be performed at midnight by the riverside. I was given a white dress to wear and had to be painted with white mud. As the night grew darker, I felt the weight of everything pressing down on me. This was my chance to be free, if it worked. The ritual began under the full moon, with Baba Wole chanting and casting powders into the air. I could feel the cold night breeze, and the sound of the river echoed in my ears. I didn't know if it was working, but I prayed with everything in me that it would. Baba Wole had left after doing his chanting. He said I needed to do the rest of the ritual myself, without any person around me. He said he'd call me the next morning to confirm if the ritual had succeeded. In the city, I waited and waited for his call, but the phone never rang. By mid-morning, I couldn't stand it anymore. I called him instead. A woman's voice answered, and I could hear the sound of people crying in the background. She said Baba Wole was gone, bitten by a snake last night. My heart sank. I knew who had sent it. Baba Wole was dead. The ritual was never completed. And now I was more entangled with Olokun than ever. I didn't know what to do, but I knew this wasn't over, not by a long shot.